Passing wealth through pensions can be one of the most tax-efficient moves you can make. In many cases, unused pension funds can be handed to your beneficiaries free of inheritance tax. Sounds like a pretty good option, right? Well, you may be disappointed to hear that this might not last. Right now, pensions offer significant tax advantages. They can typically be passed on completely free of inheritance tax, as I mentioned. And if you die before age 75 and the pension is transferred to your beneficiaries within 2 years of the notification of your death, most unused pension funds can also be passed on without causing an income tax liability. Even after 75, beneficiaries can be passed the pension free of IHT, but they will pay income tax at their marginal rate when they come to draw the funds. Because of these rules, many people have preserved their pensions using other assets for retirement income, knowing that their pension wealth would not count towards their estate for inheritance tax purposes. The government has now published draft legislation proposing to change that. From April 2027, any unused pension funds could be treated as part of your estate, potentially facing the standard 40% inheritance tax rate. That's a big shift, especially for those who pass away after the age of 75. At first glance, this could result in 2 layers of tax on the same pot: inheritance tax at the top and income tax when the funds are taken out. But the draft legislation does introduce a potential safeguard to prevent double taxation. If inheritance tax has been paid on a pension death benefit, the beneficiary will likely be able to claim income tax deductions against future withdrawals. Now, the deduction is capped at the lower of the inheritance tax paid or the taxable income withdrawn in that year, with any excess carried forward to offset later withdrawals. Many people had feared effective tax rates of 67 to 70%, but this clarification means it's unlikely to apply in most cases. Instead, the combined tax burden will depend on the size of the estate, the amount of IHT paid, and how quickly the beneficiary chooses to withdraw the inherited pension. Not everyone will feel the impact equally. Those with large defined contribution pots that they intend to leave untouched as a legacy are probably most at risk. For context, the inheritance tax nil rate band is £325,000 per person, or £650,000 for couples. Add the residence nil rate band, and a couple could shelter up to £1 million. If pensions are now brought into the estate, anyone with total assets above these thresholds could suffer a significant additional tax bill. HMRC estimates suggest around 10,500 estates could face inheritance tax on pension funds for the first time, and a further 38,500 estates could see their total IHT bill increase as a result of this change. While no changes have been enacted yet, and further amendments may be made before the final legislation is approved, now is a really good time to consider how your estate planning strategy might be affected. Now, there's no need for any sort of knee-jerk reactions, but it is worth starting the conversation with your financial advisor to explore your options. If inheritance tax is important to you, some things you could consider might be whether to draw more from your pension in retirement, particularly if some of your other assets are already inheritance tax efficient and this wouldn't negatively impact the sustainability of your plan. Exploring gifting strategies, such as gifting out of excess income, using trusts, or rebalancing between pension and non-pension assets to help reduce potential future tax exposure. Exploring wider estate planning strategies where alternative tax-efficient structures like offshore bonds might be appropriate. Using insurance to mitigate IHT liabilities, such as whole-of-life policies or other insurance products designed to help beneficiaries meet future tax bills. Ensuring your pension nominations and will are up to date so that your estate passes to your chosen beneficiaries as efficiently as possible. Running projections based on both the current and potential future rules to understand the impact on you. It's also a good time to talk to family members, especially those who might one day act under a lasting power of attorney, so that they understand your wishes and get to grips with the full situation. The pension rules you rely on today are still in place, but they may not stay that way. Ultimately, the writing is on the wall, so starting to think about this now could be worthwhile. Because remember, your money really does matter.